Hi everybody, Jo here again. Welcome to another Mindful Monday session. And today I thought we'd add a couple of our tags into our journal. And if you remember, last Tuesday we just made some festive tags, which obviously are great to go on. I mean, you can either put them on the front of a card or really designed for presents, for gifts. But I thought I'd have a look at including them in our journal. And what I have done is I've gone ahead of time and created the left hand design, which I'm going to recreate or do something similar on the right hand side. So I've got a double page spread. Oh, my tag's moving on its own. And I just fancied creating on most of my pages, if I thought about it, I tend to make almost a frame and then pop something in the middle. And again, when I was thinking about doing this, my instinct was to do the same. And I had to have a little chat with myself. And I thought, let's do something different. So this time we're almost going to make almost like a festive flourish, garland, sprig. I can't even think. But anyway, design. And we're going to come outwards from the tag. And I think this design would work lovely on a card. I think you could use it for so many different things. So what I thought I'd do is we're going to create it on this side and add this tag. Then I'm hoping that my pages will sort of be a bit symmetrical, not too symmetrical. I'm not good on symmetrical. I don't know about you. So I'll show you how I started. And what I did was I gave myself a rough guide. Let me have a look. I think the tag looks sort of about right there. So I'm just going to give myself a bit of a pencil guide. I can go on the inside. Just a bit of a rough guide as to where the tag's going to go. Obviously you can rub the pencil out if you want after. I've got to be honest, I just cover it up with stamping, etc. I'm going to put my tag there where I can keep an eye on it. And then because we're going to be stamping on here, what I'm going to do is get myself some copier paper. I was just looking for a clean piece, trying to be professional, and put that under here. And the reason I'm doing that, if you're new to the journaling, these pages are textured. So I love the textured ones, handmade paper, because they feel, honestly, they're so tactile. But in all honesty, they're not the easiest to stamp on. So for me, it helps having my copy paper underneath. But also, I've already decorated some pages here, look, because I don't do them in order. I just open it up wherever it opens that day. So because I've got embellishments and things, it's an uneven surface. So I do find that this copy of paper really helps with my stamping. And that is something a few of you keep asking me about stamping on these pages. So it's important I keep telling, or just reminding you, giving you little sort of clues how it can help. Now for me, I found the best way to work was for me to put a piece of copy paper this side, so I could actually use this side to lean things on. And obviously I don't want to put anything down on my page I've already decorated, because I could have ink on the back of anything. So I'm going to start, there's the most gorgeous stamp set, the Winter Berries. And I'm using the Pine Cone ink pad. And I'm just going to give myself sort of one that side. And it's quite good that I've covered up the page I've already done, because I want them to be sort of similar, but not too symmetrical. So it'll be interesting that it's covered up, and then when we look together at the end, I might have a sneak halfway through. Now again, my tag's going here, so I'm concentrating on my stamping that's coming out. And I think I'll just add, now here, obviously being mindful of having that card underneath. And just as always, sorry I knocked the lamp, I'm just had to get Mr. Inky Binky to do some cleaning there. Now I think I'll come in with the holly next. And this is the larger holly, not the pound holly, the mini holly. And sorry for leaning across, but Shady Lane. I always love to use this colour for this. So again, I'll just do some first and second. And don't worry that your second is quite, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that's something that doing these journals almost gets you used to. Because I don't know if you like me, I'm sort of one of those that, oh, it's all got to be perfect. And if not, it's sort of a bit upsetting. But I've sort of got used to this fact that now things, especially on the textured, and I actually love the way it looks with the textured. Let me just see if I can zoom you in. You see here, it almost does give it extra texture. So we'll just add, I think we'll add a couple up here. And I'm just working my way. And I'm using similar stamps for the two. But as I say, it's not going to be symmetrical. I mean, you could do it symmetrical if you wanted. I just find once you start, if you're doing it symmetrical, it's got to be symmetrical. And if it's not quite, it'll look wrong. So I repeat, have some glitter on here. Now, the further you get towards the spine of your journal, almost the harder it is to stamp on. So we'll just see if we can just catch. I'm going to have to... No, my stamp block wouldn't fit in. I should have had it on a smaller one. But I don't mind that. We can get away with that. No need to worry. And again, you find these things that it's better to use smaller stamps on smaller stamp blocks near the spine. And like I say, these are all things that we just think about. So I'm thinking, I know, Oak Leaf Flourish. Now this is one of our newer stamps and it's only a little stamp, but wow, it's fabulous. So I'm thinking back in with the pine cone. And let's add a bit of, and it's a silhouette, so it's going to add a bit of depth look to our design. And again, I'm thinking some first and second, and maybe just a bit of distance. You see, that stamps well there. Should have note to myself, I should have kept the that for there. That looks nice with the, I like that. We need some up here. And I actually just want another just here. Yeah. So let's bring the tag back in and have a look. Oh yeah, I like that. That's building up quite nicely. Yeah. Just keep bringing your tag in and out just to give you an idea. Now, what we do want is the lovely mini. So this mini Winterberry. Just getting my block. So while I stamp this, how are you doing? How's your weekend been? I hope you had a lovely weekend. And I hope things are going well. And if not, now's a good time for me to send you a big hug. And say, do you know what? We're all here for you. We're so lucky that we have such a lovely Lavinia family on here. Right, now I've realised that for me looks a bit symmetrical, so let's add another one up there. That looks better. And then I'm thinking just one in here. I like that. And then to finish off, I'm going to come in with Cedar. And this is a fabulous stamp and it's great for filling in. And I'm going to come in with Golden Meadow. And if I just show you on my original, if I just bring the original side in, and we zoom in, you can tell I like doing this, can't you? If you look at the top here, it's because I'm using Golden Meadow, it sort of goes a little bit into the background, and it's lovely to just add that extra shape, but I find it goes beautifully. We're going to add a little bit of Greensleeves ink, and I find the two colours work really well together. So that's why we're coming in with that one. And it's just to give, like I say, an extra something in the background, a bit of depth. And what I've found is if I just ink up those two there, and I can use them here, look, and they just give that bit of something, that extra depth where you want it. Maybe just up here, maybe a little bit here. And like I say, it just helps. So if you need a bit of extra shape, but you're not sure what you need, this is a lovely stamp for it. There, I think I like that. So again, I'll just double check. Just pop that there. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. So we'll pop the lid on that ink. And then what we'll do, we'll give it all a good blot. Again, it's so important to blot it. I don't want it to smudge, you know me. We like to blot everything, belt and braces. And then we're just going to add a little bit of colour. So as I say, it's the Greensleeves. I adore this colour. Considering I'm not a green ink sort of person, this is fabulous. So I'm taking some off on the lid. And I can see the edge here. I can still see the pencil line, look, where I've drawn. So I'm just going to come in and give a little bit of, almost a bit of a zhuzh. I like that word. And we're just going to add. Now, if you're worried about having too much ink on your brush, we take some off on the lid. But if you're still worried, make sure you start off where the tag will cover. And then just come out. And it's a gentle touch. Remember, we're tickling. So just tickle your way around. And again, we'll just add a little bit here. And it's just to give that sort of idea of the colour. Now, I could have done this first, and I know you'll want to know why I haven't. And that's because I wasn't sure where my design was going to come out to. And I find for me, I'd rather do my stamping first and then just add my bit of colour now. But again, there's no reason, however you're happy doing it, as always, you know, you just do what works best for you. So what we'll do now is add some colour to our berries, and that's in with our watercolour pencils. And I've got my two reds here. And I have to say, I've been using these a lot recently, and they're definitely getting shorter than all the others. And I'll lean on my kitchen towel. So I've got my two reds. One is a deeper red and one is a lighter red. And I just like to add both of them onto my design. And I'm only doing the berries. I'm not doing the holly berries. I'm going to use Posca for the holly berries, just so that there's a bit of a difference between the two. So I'm just doing a little bit of the darker colour first. And again, this is lovely. Lovely and relaxing. I hope you've got a nice brew and you can just sit enjoying your drink. No need to colour those because they're actually under. But that's it. I find when I'm colouring, I don't know about you, I get so carried away. I'm liable to colour where I don't need to just because I love colouring. I adore colouring. I mean, you can tell by all the things that I do with my pretend watercolour painting. And next, I'm going in with the other red. This is the lighter red. And I'm just filling the whole berry in. And I just find the mix of the two colours together gives it just something extra, a bit of extra depth. And this time I'm actually going to pay attention and only finish colouring in the ones I need to. So those of you that were shouting, telling me that I'd no need to colour those in because they're going to be under their tag, thank you. It just took a while to get from my ears to my brain. Have you ever done that? Have you ever heard something and not reacted to it, but you know you've heard it? Or is that just me? Maybe that's something I shouldn't admit. Oh, we've missed one there, look. Right, thank you. So for those of you that were shouting, thank you. I'd be lost without you. What with you and Eric to help me. It's no wonder I love coming in on a Monday for a bit of a chat and a catch up. Can't believe where the year's going. It's amazing. Right, one more. Lovely. And I'm going to put those back in the box because me being me, I don't want to put them down on my desk. It's important we keep them safe and protected so they go back in the box. And my watercolour brush, my lovely Lavinia watercolour brush is in my pot. And again, you know, don't have your water over the metal bit onto the wood. Keep it on the metal. But it's in there ready. Because I've got to be honest, I think just about every day, my fan brush and my watercolour brush. I just take the most of the water off, just because for me, it saves sort of having any drips on my work. I love this. I just think the way they pop. Now again, you could use glossy accents on the berries. That looks lovely. But for me, what I found, it can be a little bit sticky in my journal when I close my journal. So I'm not using it. But again, that's just my own personal, you know, what I found happens. And, you know, if you like glossy accents and want to use it, you do. So a red Posca now. Sorry, excuse me. That naughty throat of mine. Right, so let's have a look. I'm going to do the holly berries. But again, I want to make sure that the holly berries that are being seen, there's no point me colouring in. So I think these ones are... Right, the tag's there. So that's those. That one might just be popping, peeping from underneath. And again, remember with your Posca, there's different size nibs. I think that's just going to show. Possibly this one. Let's have a look down here. Oh, these will. Now, I better check you can see what I'm doing because you know me. I'm liable to just carry on and colour in. I think that might be under. I think this one's in. I've used my red Posca a lot recently. I think it's getting near the end. So if ever that happens, it just needs shaking more. I have to be mindful to keep shaking it. Right, I think we've got those three. Those three. Oh, I'm going to have to order another one. I think I've done a lot of holly this Christmas with a lot of red berries. I think we've just about got to the end of that. Let me see if I need to... That's going there. There. I think... Yeah, I think we're covered. So, a couple of our little finishing tricks. We've got the Posca. And two things with the Posca. One, on all my little berries, I'm just going to put a little dot. Just almost to add that extra highlight. Now, I'm going to put it on the larger winter berries as well, but I want to give them just an extra second to dry. And we'll also add a few on some of our oak leaves, our little acorns, maybe a bit on the odd holly. I don't want to overcook it, so I don't want to do all of them, but just just some of them. And then we'll see if our berries are dry. Again, I'll give him another shake. And we'll just add that lovely white highlight to these berries. What a difference that makes. I never get tired of culling these, you know. I could use these. Oh, I love it. I really do. And we're going to come in with some glitter, and we're going to use the Stickles, this lime green. 2 reasons for using the lime green. The main reason with this, if there's any areas that I almost want a little bit of colour, I can use my lime green look. And again, we know it's rude, but this time I'm doing that dot and dab. It's my Christmas version of straight in, dot it on, and then dab it with my finger. And it's lovely, look, we can bring it out. And if there's an area, little tip, don't tell anyone I told you this, but if there's an area that's misstamped, by adding this, it almost makes it a bit fuzzy. And you can get away with, you know, if you did that second generation and you weren't quite keen on it, just add some of this on top and nobody will ever know. But that's our secret. So we're just dotting and dabbing all the way around. And like I say, it means if it spits, it doesn't matter. And look at that, there's a bit of ink there. So we'll just camouflage that with a bit of dotting and dabbing. We like a bit of camouflaging, don't we? I like a good old cheat. Well, it's not a cheat, it's just making things work for me, she says, in my defence. Now, we'll have to just wipe my finger before we get our Posca out, and let's add some nice splats. Now, again, this is my one that I use for splats, but to be honest, he has been giving the ghost up a bit. Like I say, I think I've been adding splats on everything. So we'll see how he goes today. So sorry about the noise. So funny, I think everybody in the house has got used to the fact if they hear this noise, they know I'm doing my Posca splats. Did a workshop on Saturday and we did Christmas designs, and it was so funny because you could tell what stage the ladies were at when you started hearing this noise. And then it was a case of, oh, we're splatting, are we? Just add a few more. Let's see if we can have some, just a couple of larger ones, right? He needs pumping. That's better. Just want a couple of larger ones. And often, if he doesn't do larger ones, just pump him up. Get that nib pumping. There we go. But what I do need to do is just wipe that up where I've pumped it on my mat. Get Mr. Inky Binky on it. And then what we'll do is put our tag in place. And again, belt and braces. I've got some tape on and I've got my bittity boppity glue. And I'm just putting this round the edges. And I think just going to sort of place him. I don't know why it's a him. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then what I'm going to do is with this lovely craft yarn, I'm going to just put a little bit of the glue on my journal. And then just for me, I'd rather stick the craft yarn down. You don't have to, but I would like to. So that black mark is going to annoy me. It's just, I think it's just a mark in the page, but you know what? We'll just put a little bit of Posca on it. And then on our original, I had some splats with this lovely gold calligraphy pen. So I'm just going to add a few of these. Now, again, if you're not into splats, you don't have to add your splats. This is just me. I like a little bit of the gold. It's Christmas and it's festive design. So we're just bringing a bit in. And that, oh, that's lovely. So finally, I'm going to add a sentiment here just to balance, because on my original look, we have a sentiment there. I know I've got one on the tag, but I still think, let's move this out of the way. I still think I would like one. So I'm going to bring my sheet in. I've used a few of these already. I think Wishing You Peace and Joy is the one I'm going to go for. So as always, I'm just going to use my scissors just to give me an idea. See, I think the colour goes lovely with that. And again, it's just getting it straight. So if I put it here and then peel my scissors off the back, yeah. And I always put my sentiment on last, just because with my Posca, I don't want to flick Posca on my actual sentiment. Now, normally on the other pages, I've used a black pen and I've edged it, but I don't want to with this. I like it as it is. So I shall do my best to show you them both together. As I say, unfortunately, my iPad won't go further away. So that's the one page look. And then that's the page we've just done. And that's the two more or less together. And I just think that's such a lovely design. Now, if you wanted to make a card design, you could stamp a sentiment here and on a piece of card and actually do this lovely design underneath it. And this could just be a sentiment stamped. I think that would look lovely too. I'm really happy with those pages. I love the colours. I'm hoping you can see the colours and how they pop. And I'm hoping I've shown you how you can, even on this textured journal, get some lovely, lovely stamping. So thank you for joining me again. And as always, thank you for your lovely comments. Honestly, I really appreciate them. You take care, everybody. Oh, and tomorrow, Technique Tuesday. I'll see you again soon. You take care, everybody. Bye for now.